to work on understanding why, as she said, female genital mutilation is still rising in Sierra Leone. The why. Are there people who are advocating for it, or are we getting the wrong information concerning it? Because, as she said, some people are being told that they are not clean as women. They are not worthy to become wives if they are not mutilated. So are we getting the right information where we should get it? Okay? Then it's the role of the advocates. That's what the discussion we had last time. Those medical doctors are the ones like her, are the ones who should get out and talk to people, not only as doctors, but also as entrepreneurs who have their initiatives that have the, let's say, the aim of informing people, on making walls fall down, of letting people understand, because information is power. And if we don't have the right information regarding something that's happening in our countries, then we won't be equipped enough for us to be able to fight it and to eradicate it. The same way, I also have seen how STIs are still prevalent among young people, and also the lack of information that young people in general have. And I think as advocates, we should also try to see how we can make sexual and reproductive health taught to our young kids, not only to the girls, but to male and female, for them to understand what are their sexual and reproductive health rights, and what is the things that they need to know for them to remain healthy, for them to own their own health. Okay, so I really commend Bintu for what she has done in terms of getting out of her comfort zone, because she could, on many, at different levels in her life, she could, for example, stay in Liverpool and say that she has been at the El Dorado where most of the young people are dreaming of being. But she has come back to her country and has created an initiative that is helping young girls recognize the early signs of abuse, because the young girls are not abused by strangers. They are abused by people who are close to the family, people we trust. And they are also not abused the first time that they report. They have like people who touch them on areas they should not. And instead of teaching them to report on that, like frequently as parents, we teach them to not share, because we don't create the environment that helps the young kids to come to their parents and report like somebody who has touched you where they shouldn't. So she's also teaching at schools to help the young kids realize how, what are the early signs of abuse. And I think that's what all the practitioners should do, get out of their comfort zones and stretch to reach out, to give where need is, so that the information will meet the younger generation. Okay, so thank you, Bintu, for the tremendous work that you're doing. And it's my pleasure to introduce our second speaker, who is a sound advocate of children and young people's rights. His name is Mr. Sheiku Foryo. He's the president of Children's Forum Network Sierra Leone. He's the male representative of Children's Rights Coalition. He has occupied many academic positions as head boy at the Richard Allen High School, and also as the Chief Justice at SOS College. He is called by many experts in the field of advocacy for him to represent young people and to extend the work he's doing in Sierra Leone to 7 countries in the sub-region. Sheiku is also somebody who works for women empowerment, because he is 23 and he is amazing, the inspiration he has for young people. And he is a role model for young entrepreneurs. He also employs 7 people, and among those 7 people, he has 4 female. Women are mostly underrepresented, and he is somebody who puts women forward. So help me, please, in welcoming Mr. Sheiku Foryo for him to walk us through his initiative. Sheiku.
Thank you very much for coming. I want to specifically thank each and everyone for being here today to guide the process of what we have been fighting for several years. YACAP has been the youth and child-led organization in this country. We provide leadership for the Ministry of Youth Affairs and that of the National Youth Commission. We provide leadership for them. We provide young people. Whenever the ministry wants to send a representative out of the county, we provide leadership for them to represent young people in Sierra Leone. The Youth and Child Advocacy Panel Sierra Leone is a well-structured panel organization having branches all over the 16 districts of this country and the national panel in Western area. We also establish at community level college institutions throughout the country. Our area of focus including advocacy, awareness raising campaign, capacity building, policy influence, and panel discussions. These are key things we engage on as an organization. We target different people. We have different seminar stops that we do, and yes. Activity undertaken in 2018. Only in 2018, we have undertaken several activities as organizations, and we have also represented young people, come up with different position paper, follow up on different national issues, both national and international issues. International Children's of Broadcasting, ICDB, these are a teamwork that we organize every year. Of course, last year, 2008, we organized short activity, partnership with AYV as well. We have the first Children's in Media Conference that was supported by the National Children's Commission, NCC. We have female genital mutilation and sexual reproductive health rights, supported by Amnesty International. We have the non-violence campaign, and then after and during the election, supported by NEC, we have the engagement of the wives of the presidential aspirant and signing of MOU. We engage the wife of the presidential aspirant during the election. We have MOU with them. And the current wife of the president, we have MOU with her. And it stated different things that we want for children in this country. And also what we want to follow up for children as well. And then we have an MOU with her and different other wives of the presidential aspirant during the election process. Of course, we have the Africa Child's Day event that is June 16th, sponsored as well on Amnesty International. We have the International Youth Leadership Summit, sponsored by the Ministry of Youth Affairs. And we have the Sea Report project by Restless Development. These are short key activity that we organized last year as an organization to also fight, help the government, and also create a space for young people in this country. We're young, like 4 years old now. Knowing about sex, when I was the president of Children's Forum Network, we have this project with Save the Children. We call it Life Skill Sessions, which we understand every bit about life skills and how you protect yourself and how you protect your partner. The key things about sexual, which young people need to know about. And that has been the thing. When you talk to young people about sex, Asabi ought to know, not teach me. But we keep on making mistakes. Our sisters keep on having pregnant. Just because the key things, it's simple to understand. And you need to know that today. And today we'll make it very clear to you all. We explain the bit about it, we discuss it, and we have plans how best to follow it. The health system has been somehow very much complicated when I talk about health issues, more especially when I have an international tip or discussion on this. What we do on sexual reproductive health and rights as an organization, we do advocacy. Advocacy doesn't stay school to school or what. We come up with policies. We engage key people that needs to know this policy, people that needs to listen and come up with a plans, a paperwork that we engage. Our advocacy system in Sierra Leone is very, very much unique. When we put our press release, we target key things and we follow up on it. We make sure it's done. The key things that we do here, who do we target? Of course, we target students, teachers, parents, media, and policymakers. This is key things as well. We target the policymakers to strategize a policy that we need to engage on. Of course, we do a community outreach. We target the parents as well. You know, I was follow up on one issue last year. Anytime the girl want to talk to her mother about sex, the mother kick her off. I don't want to read this. Come on, I'll let go. You understand? Our sisters are not free to talk about sex to our parents. They see it as taboo. Come on, it's not a taboo. Let us talk to our sisters about sex. If you have your girlfriend, talk to her about sex. How you plan yourself, what and what you should do, and when and how you should have sex. But in Salon, that has not been. I've not been saying short things. When you discuss about sex to different partners, they get furious, they get angry. How we plan ourselves? He said, I will grab my money and so the kick and back at the daytime. No, you need to plan yourself. Anything you achieve is not by God's grace. Plan yourself and then you can have a success in it. Thank you very much. We'll be entertaining questions and we also want to have a clear for your audience. And may God bless you all. Thank you very much.
It would be now men who would stand for girls, for women, who would stand for their rights and who will try to empower them. Which is, I think, the greatest thing that could happen because women have been in the situations they have been because of males who have been pulling them back, who have been holding them back. So it's really great to have those men realize their role in terms of empowering women and giving them their rightful places in the society. So my other takeaway from what he shared is the coordinated efforts that civil society is having among themselves and that we need to emphasize. He has mentioned that AMNET has approached YACAP in an effort of making them implement some of the projects that AMNET could not implement, which is really great due to the fact that if each of us actors are doing something separately and like we're having efforts that are not coordinated, then each one of us is doomed to fail because we don't have each other's backs. That's one. Second, we don't learn from what the other organization is doing. We don't learn from what the other actors are doing. So it's really important for the actors, the civil society actors, to come hand in hand and to try to coordinate the efforts. That's the reason why the response to the HIV/AIDS was successful, in as much as we had a global coordinating body, which was the Global Fund, and that at country level, there were the country coordinating mechanisms that were coordinating the efforts of all the actors. So that's what we need to do. Like the doctors, the female representatives, the male representatives, and all the UN organizations, all actors come together hand in hand to try and make sexual and reproductive health rights available to young people, to young male and female. So thank you very much for the wonderful work that you're doing. So now the floor is open for questions and answer sessions.
Now talking about the FGM and Bintu, when we are talking about FGM in different societies, especially for the provinces, when you go there and talk to them about, for them to stop the practice of FGM, which is the female genital mutilation, the cutting of the clitoris, it might sound to them as like a bad thing, but because you mentioned earlier that some of the girls have been stigmatized, we're talking about stigmatization. If we say that the FGM should be stopped in those rural areas, which we call the provinces, then we must bring people like health sectors like you, who will be going there in order for them to sensitize them, at least talk to them about FGM, the bad effects of it. And talking about sexual abuse, we are girls and not brides. That is what we need for older men and also boys to know. They can stand by us, the siblings, and not in us. Raping us will only destroy our future and not to create for us a good platform on either. If we say we are your future leaders, why not lead us and steer the ship for us in order for us to have a better future? Again, talking about condoms. In school, for me, I'm attending a boys and a girls school, which is a mixed school. Now, when sitting among ourselves, that is like usual. We talk about sex, we talk about different issues every day. As for me as a girl, if I talk to them about sex, it might sound like, yes, she's my teen, like we are the same age, they might listen to me. But if a 50-year-old woman stand in front of them and start talking about sex, they'll say, the quote unquote, you don't do your own. What say they can advise you for? So what we need is that we need people to go to the various schools, teach children, especially girls, to advocate to themselves, talk to themselves about sex and also related matters which can help us reduce the rate of sexual abuse and of teenage pregnancy, early marriage in our community. And talking again about advocating, sex education. In our homes, not only our homes, in schools nowadays, some of my Localians here can testify to the fact that we have not been taught about sex education, in our schools. And in our homes, it has been a taboo for a mother to talk about sex education. But here, we are now, I'm a young advocate, really. We are now talking to mothers that in our homes, let's talk to us, the girls in particular, about sex. Teach us about the bad effects that sex would lead us to. At least if these things have been taught in our homes, in our various communities, when we come to school, even we have to call the peer pressure, our friends talking to us about us being involving in sexual activities at an early age, at least we'll be able to tell them that my mom or dad has already taught me about these things at home. At least I know the bad and good effects of it. This is all I have.
Thank you for your great contribution. I just love women who take the floor and share, not only ask questions, but at the same time give great propositions, because this is really something that we can work on, like having young teens talk to other teens, because you said it right. People relate better to somebody who's closer to their age than to somebody who's older, because not only they will have issues with asking questions, the questions that are in their hearts, but the one who has the same issues, the same challenges, is the one who will understand you. So I really appreciate the contribution that you made, and I think some of the questions that were raised can be answered by Dr. Bintu.
To learn about safe sex, which is basically what you say, to learn about safe sex, and it's been shown that if you talk to adults about sex, it will delay the age of forced sexual intercourse. Because the more you delay sex, obviously, the less chances of getting all of these infections, getting pregnant, and all of that. And about global society, I as well am against this. Foreigners coming and telling us that societies are bad. The minute you go to the villages and say it like that, they shut down. They don't even listen to anything you say. They're like, where is she coming from? To come and tell you the society we have for centuries is bad. So it's about telling them that the toxic aspect is bad. Because they have the other traditions. They sing, they dance, they dress up. All that is fine. So it's about letting them know that it's just the toxic aspect. Wants them to take out of the global society. But also, as you said, it's about women in the villages also standing up and talking about it. So thank you so much.
and listen, because all of us, when we talk about teenage, most of the pregnant are now becoming more lower than teenage age. So we start with the for us, we are committed in being sexual and reproductive health program in schools. And we are working together with education, social welfare, youth ministry to take a multi-sectoral approach. Last week we had a meeting, and I'm sure after maybe a few months, we try to see how best we can bring that document together, and after which we will now maybe by next year, academic year, starting September, that document has been approved for, then we can now start with the teaching reproductive sexual in schools.
My question here is very question. Earlier on, we spoke about FGM, that female genital mutilation, and also infertility. So I want to know if the FGM can cause infertility, which uses that a woman not being able to give birth. And if yes, how? And also, you spoke about the use of condom. Some of us, the girls, have been having the perception that condom can cause infection due to the oil or whatever that is around it. And it can cause also blockage to us during our menstrual period. So I wanted to address that issue.
FGM has been demonstrated that it causes difficulty in childbirth when you're actually having the baby. Because what happens when you're having the baby, it's like your vagina, it has to stretch while you're having the baby. But if your female parts have been cut, it's like when you have your wound, it heals and then there is a scar. That scar tissue doesn't stretch. So when you are having a baby, instead of that normal stretching that you perform, with some women who had extensive FGM, because FGM will have different types, type 1 to type 4. So it doesn't stretch, your vagina doesn't stretch. So it leads to excessive bleeding, it leads to tearing, and we have to help you. So we have to cut again about FGM actually preventing women from conceiving. And the second one is about condom. The condom lubricant, as you were saying, the oil, it causes allergies to very, very few people. It's very rare. It's like somebody having an allergy to gloves. It's called latex allergies. It's very rare. So let men, because I'm sure it's men that are using that to scare women, so they don't use condoms. Let them don't tell you that. And the condom causing a blockages. If it's not properly, like if the man doesn't know how to properly use the condom, it can come out during sex. But again, that is rare. So it can come out and it won't even go in. You can come to the hospital and you can remove it, or you can even remove it at home. But again, that is rare. So those rare occurrences should not stop you from using condoms. Because even though there are other means of contraception or contraceptives, condom just does both. It prevents STI and it prevents young girls from getting pregnant. So you should take responsibility of using a condom. You should have a condom. You should go with a condom. Let the guy know that you mean business, that you are going to use a condom, whether you like it or not. Because you say, I don't have a condom. Say, okay, maybe I have. You understand? So I don't have access to this.
3 months ago, we concluded a similar project with the Infinity Mind Foundation in Gambia District. We teamed up with them, we went to schools, we discussed during assembly issues that has to do with sexual and reproductive health. And of course, it was successful because we went to schools like Colenten Secondary School, Gambia, Sierra Leone Islamic Federation Secondary School. We went to Gambia Islamic Secondary School. It was successful. And of course, it was important for them to know about reproductive health because over the years, we understand that there were clubs like VAG, Violence Against Girls Club, which normally we use as a platform to discuss on issues that has to do with female, boys and girls, all of those issues. So at the end of the day, those clubs have now faded off. So we came on board with our own organization, Foundation for Youth Empowerment and Advocacy. We team up with other organizations in town for us to see how best we can come into their aid to help salvage the situation of women and girls in the nation.
So men just don't produce enough sperm unless they are aided, unless they're given drugs. There are medicines for that, which is why it's hard when men don't come to the hospitals with their wives. Some couples will be trying to conceive for 5 years. You never see the husband with the wife. And it's hard because their issues can be amended. We can give drugs for that. And in 3 months, we can actually see improvements. And your suggestion about health workers coming together and talking about these issues, it's a good one. Thank you so much. And we'll see how we can discuss it and incorporate it into our daily activities.
Based on your experience, what would be the right age to tackle the issues, and how should we go about it as parents? Because this is indeed a serious source of concern for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for this question. It's one I get all the time. And I'm sorry to give you an unsatisfactory answer because there is not one age. I have a 10-year-old son saw hair and says, "Daddy, I have hair." Hair. So it's I would say you know your kids. You know when they start asking these questions. It's just about letting your children know from a very young age, 3, 4, that they can talk to you. They can ask you whatever questions they have.
Similarly, as a country, we need to do as well. We need to put certain laws in place to ensure that these things we can actually get rid of it. So, in conclusion, all I want to say is the government, legislation, people that are putting policies in place, they need to look at the laws. That's how they can actually help us as a country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
People can have seminars and train Bintu societies and train young people for them not to stand for other young girls, for them not to become. But if there are no laws that punish the act of female genital mutilation or the fact of let's say making a young girl who's underage pregnant, then of course we're going nowhere. So we're pleading to the governments for them to join the battle against female genital mutilation because, what I realize is we have nice laws, but we need to implement them, and we need people to be punished when they do crimes. Like Dr. Bintu was sharing with me last time about somebody who sexually abused a girl and who just had 2 days of imprisonment. And that's really, that's ununderstandable. You just don't understand how somebody can be punished for 2 days after having destroyed a life of a young girl. So we need to be really serious about this battle. And at government level, at judiciary level, please. I would like to give the mic to Dr. Fatou, who's the president, Fatou Tati, who's the president of the 50-50 group, for her to give some contributions.
Age people learn to on how to look after themselves, how to take care of their body, and more so for girls, how to look after themselves during the menstrual cycle. So that, because again, same as we don't talk about sex during, we don't talk about the personal, the parents don't talk about it within the cultural. So once we have opportunities to talk about sexual and reproductive health and all personal hygiene, I want to think comes in, so that they understand, how the hormones play and what, and you use the word douching, Dr. Bintu, which some people might not understand, but they also need to know what it means and how you can go about it the right way, so that you use water to wash yourselves, take care of your armpits, so that we don't have body odor, we have nice smelling mouth, we look nice and clean and neat and tidy. It's all part of growing up, and it's all part of where responsibility comes in as individuals. So I think that's very important. We don't miss that out with the young ones. But this is fantastic, the Ignition Hour, and it's every month, the same time on every second Saturday of the month, and every month we're having different topics to deal with, and it all boils down to the entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship for young people.